call of catch it, but I think it was slightly ambitious. Maybe one of the 12th men could have got hold of it. Use of the feet, and when you get to the pitch and it's full enough, you can just go through with that angle. You've mentioned of his doesn't really get a massive amount of turn, so on the angle you can play it that way. And as he makes contact, Yander Malan, he knows that it's good enough. We'll look to see whether the mid-on goes back to the same position. So there's still a gap there.
Hit him! Direct hit is in. I think he was in. So in the previous over, Nawaz had a long on and mid-off was up in the ring. This over started by having that long on fielder up in the circle. Let's have another look at that direct hit. He was in. Time to spare.
He middles this one as well. Watch where it hits on the bat. Right off the middle.
So he played the field. Played against the spin, against the angle of Nawaz's left arm spin, and hit a great six over long on.
Catch it! Good bowling,
that's the way to bowl to a newcomer. Just keep it nice and tight. Right, Nawaz to Markram, change of line, keen to bowl on that off-stump angle, flighting the ball. The last ball, keeping it on that middle and leg stump channel, adjusting it so well so that the width is not provided. Ends well. 3 dots in a row, 30 for 1 after 4.
He's done a good job for Pakistan, hasn't he? There you go. 5 wickets, so he's the leading wicket taker in the series along with Lazard Williams. And his corner rate's been impressive as well. Never easy when you have to start in the power play as a spinner. No real protection, but he's accurate.
Power play overs 1 to 6. Can only have 2 fielders outside the ring. Nawaz hits the list of most wicket taker, along with Williams. Right, Haris Rauf, we know he can be lightning quick, he can be expressive and explosive as well. 16 matches, 19 wickets. Economy is just a little bit higher for his kind because he's a smart bowler. Almost a chance, direct hit at the non-strikers, and he was a goner, I think. Really was close shave.
Yeah, it was a good start, and the problem with this trying to pick up a single here is Van der Dussen thought it had gone into the gap, but Yander Malan was waiting to see if it carried to the fielder or not, so he was more concerned about whether he was going to be on his way from the leading edge. Only once it landed safe did he start thinking about the single. Van der Dussen was thinking from the outset. That's why he committed as early as he did. Direct hit, he would have been on his way.
Smash over mid-off. No need to run for that one. The balance was so good. He walks into that ball and cracks a great fall.
Once again through the offside. Once again giving himself some room. I think the bowling attack should be aware that that is his game plan, and that's what he's going to turn to. And I think he goes early enough where in many ways they should be able to make slight adjustments, because that's perfectly into the hitting area. Maybe try and follow him. Sometimes never easy to try and drag it wider, but it can be easy to follow him if he moves early. There we go. As soon as it's tight on the leg stump line, difficult to get away.
Well, they preach of bowling a straighter line. I think against Malan you can go just a wee bit wider because he stays inside the line of the ball. He's almost on that leg stump, at times outside that leg stump. So a wider angle may just work. He may not club it. that hard.
I think what we'll do is we'll try and have a look after this delivery as to how early he goes, and then maybe whether the bowler can adjust. I think it's a skill that you have to try and learn to develop in this T20 format now. Nicely bowled. Didn't move that time. But you've got to be aware, you've got to practice in the nets that you almost ask someone to move around and then try and adjust. As you have a look, he's going there now. If you can spot that, you can maybe look to follow him.
I mean, look at where he was playing that shot from. Way outside the leg stump, so I guess a wider angle may just... It may look untidy. You can still go for runs, but I think you have an outside chance of maybe just killing his rhythm a bit. JP Duminy and Mike Haseman will take up the commentary after one ball. JP, how's it looking? South Africa decently placed?
We can also ask JP just to give us an insight into 1 of 5 deliveries. How much of an influence is it at the top of the order when you don't get a quick boundary or some runs away and it starts to build on you? Pressure.
Yeah, it's certainly there. I think from a South African point of view, they would feel okay with this start. If we compare it to the previous starts they have had in the past, so it's been all right. Yeah, they'll be comfortable.
36 for the loss of 1 after 5. Take it away, boys.
Ramesh, thanks very much. There's a look at what is to come. The skipper, Heinrich Klaasen. Look at that strike rate, 155. A little bit on the quiet side of the last game, I suppose. Linda. Now, I'm a little bit worried about him at 5. I was okay with him at 6, but he's now up a little bit. Patrick Okoye is also up. It's probably high as he's batted. Mulder, maybe there's going to be a shuffle there. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So 5 overs gone, 36 for 1. South Africa can afford to be a little bit flexible. Hassan Ali, like this guy. Wept away leg side, that's 4. Good start to the over from South Africa.
One over left in the power play for South Africa, really to put foot to the pedal. And Rassie van der Dussen, he's been in great touch throughout this Pakistan tour of South Africa. Just have a look at the front foot. Looks like there's just a smidgen behind the line.
Oh, that's a tight call, isn't it? Oh, he's called it as a no ball. I'm not convinced about that, it's got to be said. Anyway, it's a free hit. Whipping away on the leg side, and that's going to disappear for a boundary.
It's a side that he favours, the leg side, Rassie van der Dussen. We often see him that one right leg or right knee on the ground where he plays that shot around the cow corner region. And then he gets down on that one knee. Doesn't quite get all of it, but enough of it to reach the boundary.
Big over for South Africa. Looking for 1 there, just to rotate the strike a little bit. They've got off 9 runs off the first 3 deliveries now, putting Hassan Ali under a bit of pressure. Now, he had a frown initially. He's got a triple frown now, I think. I think he was harshly dealt by with that no ball, it's got to be said. This is the first boundary.
Yeah, not ideal in the way he started, giving Rassie van der Dussen a freebie in many ways. Yeah, good running. Good running from South Africa. It's been a solid start to this final over, and they definitely want to capitalize on this last 3 deliveries.
Yeah, 10 from 3 now. So, perspective here, they were 65 for none after 6 overs, South Africa, in the previous game. Really put the South Africa, or the Pakistan, I should say, opening bowlers and first and second change under a bit of pressure. Have an opportunity to build with the last 3 balls of this before the power play is done. Track is good. Boundaries are a reasonable size. We are still at altitude, not as high as the Wanderers, but still altitude. It's nicely bowled. Followed him. Looking to give himself some room, the boys next door. Sean Pollock and Ramiz Raja were talking about that, so he chased him nicely.
Hassan Ali has been, certainly for me, is that the no ball previously that was given? Sorry, confirmation, that was the previous delivery, which wasn't given a no ball.
And what's the difference between that one and the previous one? Edge, 4 runs, fine. No chance for third man to stop that.
The important from a South African perspective and outlook that they really gained the momentum of this last over. You know that the middle period is something that they've put a lot of focus on in trying to dominate. That delivery right there, that off-cutter, is often his go-to when under pressure. Hassan Ali, it's worked to good effect of times past, but favour going the way of the brave in Rassie van der Dussen.
15 runs off it and still 1 ball to come. Call is 2, so it's going to be rounded off unless it goes for 4. No, it doesn't. Nicely fielded. Bit of tag teamwork. They thought about 3, didn't get there. So 17 runs off Hassan Ali's first. That's unusual. 53 for 1 now. 6 overs gone. Power play done.
Power play was a steady start for South Africa, but in many ways a better one for Pakistan in getting the wicket of Adrian Markram. That was confirmation of that. Would feel hard done by in that dismissal, but Yanaman Malan, didn't matter if they lost the wicket. He went on his merry way, playing his natural game, which is aggressive, taking on the seamers. And Rassie van der Dussen, we spoke about the touch that he's been in throughout the series, and he's carrying on. Importantly now, how does South Africa go about this middle phase?
Right, so it's a good start, going at just a shade under 9 at the moment for South Africa. A bit more protection for the spin of Nawaz, 2 overs, 1 for 19 at the moment. Mark Boucher said yesterday that he wanted a good tone set at the start of this game. So far it's good. Not quite as good as the other game, but it's been good. The other comment that interested me about Mark Boucher, as they settle for 1, is that he did say the other day, JP, and of course we've talked about Babar Azam and how good he wasn't sure that even 230 was going to be enough in the third T20, the way that Babar played.
Yeah, you certainly can understand that when a player's in such form and such touch, particularly in a shorter format, it's really difficult to find ways of not only dismissing him but keeping him quiet. The manner in which he did it was just an absolute exhibition.
It's controlled for no run. This is good work. Nicely bowled by Nawaz, getting lots of support from Rizwan, the keeper.
Yeah, he's taken some tap, particularly in the last game. And go back to a conversation that we saw on the field between Rizwan and Nawaz. He was smacking him on his heart, telling him that he needs to dig deep. Almost felt that he didn't want the ball, and it's good to have that support from behind the stumps.
Yeah, absolutely. At times out there, when as a bowler, I think you feel pretty lonely. Yes, when a guy's bowling really nicely, it's all a bit easy, I guess, because everyone's on top and everyone's buzzing. But when you've had a bit of a rough start, you need someone to G you up, and it's important the keeper does that. Third commentator at the moment. Oh, that's nicely played. Really good control. Beautifully played by Rassie van der Dussen.
It's an option that he more than likely prefers than the conventional sweep, does Rassie van der Dussen. And we saw him play it a few balls earlier, not necessarily looking to go aerial. But in that instance, he made one, and Nawaz was smacking him on his heart, telling him that he needs to dig deep. He almost felt that he didn't want the ball. And it's good to have that support from behind the stumps.
Yeah, absolutely. At times out there, when as a bowler, I think you feel pretty lonely. Yes, when a guy's bowling really nicely, it's well, it's good running, really good running. What great awareness.
Such a key phase of the game as well, not just boundary hitting, but rotation of strike, but more importantly, good awareness, as you used the word there, Hazy, of just understanding and grabbing opportunities when they get presented. Half chances, particularly in the shorter formats, can be the difference between a W and an L. Often what happens in closing out an over, spinners often speak about darting it through, trying to bowl wicket to wicket, and from time to time you can lose your length. And that's what happened in that instance. And yes, a bit of fortune for Rassie van der Dussen. You've got to be certain to make sure you get your length right. You don't want to be cut off the back foot. You want to be hit out the ground, because that's where your field is, that's where your protection is. So you always want to close the over really well.
Haris Rauf has quietened things down up until now in this over. Well, that one didn't bounce much. Worked away just for one. Good work from Rauf.
Such a key part of the game, the change up, the variation on a surface that's a good one, that you can more often than not just hit through the line of the ball. You've got to be thinking ahead of the batsman, and that's where you see those change ups that roll across the fingers.
Two's the early call. Touch and turn. That's what they did straight away. Rassie van der Dussen was prepared to take a straight away gamble, backing his partner. Really good to see from the bloke who's got 72 on his back.
And they've passed the 50-run mark as a partnership already. They lost Aiden Markram a little bit earlier for 11. He's been in fine touch with back-to-back 50s in this series, T20 series. It's important to carry on with that momentum. That's the end of the 8th, 71 for 1.
Well, I'm straight away looking at 10 and over. 191 from here. 9 wickets in hand, 12 and over 215, 14 and over 239. Someone plays really well. They can get maybe just past that, but that'll be a huge total. 12 and over will be some seriously good going. They will know that they've got to do better than the other day, I guess. That's the bottom line. Babar Azam said that there's a really good gap, a good percentage gap in winning the toss. Big bonus to him. The numbers he uses about 25 to 30%. I think that's maybe a little high, but it is a bonus, there's no doubt, because batting second in T20 cricket on a good surface when you can pace yourself does give you some sort of benefit. Fahim Ashraf into the attack now. Used to be a out-and-out quick bowler, had some injury concerns, has now developed into a very dependable batsman. Has done a terrific job in the Test arena for Pakistan. Does a very tidy job in the white ball stuff as well. So 8 overs gone, 71 for 1.
He's one of those bowlers, particularly in shorter formats, that is very consistent in his line and length. And often what happens, batters tend to line bowlers up that have the consistency like that. Yes, he has the change-ups, but often we see batters using their feet to guys that they believe are going to be hitting the pitch in a certain area. It'll be interesting to see, especially someone like Yana Malan, whether he goes that route. Quick single, and in comfortably for Rassie van der Dussen.
Yeah, he was eyeing the fact that mid-off was in a standard position. He likes to give himself a little bit of room and play, open up on that offside. Scrambled seam. Generally be, his normal pace is somewhere around 135 k's per hour. Fahim could have had 10 k's per hour when he was in his younger days and fully fit without those injuries. That's out. That's the area I was thinking about. That is a really big wicket. That is a huge wicket, in fact. To break this partnership, to quieten Yanaman Malan is really important right now for Pakistan.
Well, I spoke about that option, particularly for Malan. And he went the route of coming down the surface. Backed his ability to try and clear the inner ring. Was a touch fuller, so he couldn't quite get that elevation. And a very good catch by Fakhar Zaman. It's a breakthrough that Pakistan will be really pleased with the starts that South Africa have had in the previous game. He goes for 33, it's 73 for 2.
Have a look at the dismissal. Just a little bit of a shuffle down. Low on the bat, giving herself some room to drive on that offside, but Fakhar Zaman was there. It's a good grab, really it's a good grab. He hit it pretty well. Going to his left. And went to his left pretty quickly. So the skipper now, Heinrich Klaasen. 3 games ago, got 50 off 28. Next game, 36 not out off 21, then 15 off 10. He's a good player. Superb 100 against Australia. Seems like ages ago, that one. Back in March or February 2020. So 2 down now, halfway through the 9th. Direct hit will be okay.
In terms of technique, what we've seen from Yanaman Malan, particularly in the power play, was a double step. And this occasion, he kind of walks at the bowler in Ashraf, going a slightly different technique. What's created is the fact that he can't get that elevation with the length that he delivered. You feel that it's the right option, though, from a South African point of view, wanting to put the pressure on Pakistan. It's a shot that he really backs. But often what it comes down to is the execution. I'm a big fan if the thinking is right, but the execution is not there. You can be at peace with the decision. Often what happens in practice is you will work on it and try and make sure that you give yourself the best chance to execute well.
And I guess if he'd stayed in his crease, he could have gone over the top, underneath it, and gone over the top of mid-off. Straight to backward points. 9 overs gone, good over, 4 from it, and a wicket, 75 for 2. There's the gold coin that was used at the toss. KFC, gold nugget. So look at the fall of wickets. So Markram going with just 16 on the board. Yanama Malam was 73. Nawaz, 1 over left, and he's about to start it. 1 for 30 is return at the moment. Was it in line? That's what Nawaz thinks. I think Rizwan is suggesting it wasn't.
Seen the success rates of Rassie van der Dussen playing the shot closer than we all think. His front pad probably shifted outside the line of the stumps after it hit the ball, which convinced him somewhat.
Just having a chat to Babar Azam in the covers. Babar Azam wants to just move the sweeper. There he is in front of the scoreboard. Just move him a little bit straighter, actually. And he's going more on the circle himself at extra cover. There he is, just going back about 5 yards, 6 yards. Big partnership this for South Africa, because they can do that. They're both hitters. They can do that. That is a wonderful shot. He loves playing at this venue. There's Van der Dussen.
Wow, that's gone a long way. He's got all of that, has Rassie van der Dussen. A little shimmy down the wicket, and the ability to extend his arms through the line of the ball. We know that he likes to hit from the crease, but on that occasion, he opted to come down and made the decision early. And the ball was in the slot to just free flow, as we spoke, through the line of the ball. And a beautiful maximum for the Proteas.
And they will sense, I think, right now that they're a little bit behind where they need to be. Bearing in mind that they got 200 and it was chased down. South Africa have had 200 chased down on 5 occasions. So they need on this surface to get past that. When you've got someone like Babar Azam and also, of course, Waka Zaman around the place. So they need to get a couple of big overs pretty soon. Because if you double this score from now, it's not far shy of the 160 mark, that's all. And that's not going to be enough in my book. Of course, there are 4 balls left before we get to the halfway mark. Linda. Ashlakoyo. And Mola, the next 3 presumably to come in. Just the one to get Klaasen back on strike. Now he's someone who gives it a whack. Heinrich Klaasen.
As you mentioned, the next few batters that are to come for South Africa, and we need to see how they go about selecting who comes in when. South Africa should lose a wicket now. Do they send in the left-hander in George Linda? We know his ability. He can bat in the top order, but is it the Vian Miller option that comes in next?
It's just the single. Rameez, how are you feeling about things at the moment? Rameez and Sean are coming up next.
It's not bad, but we know the charge is on. The rhythm is right now with South Africa. Rassie van der Dussen once again absolutely pulverizing the attack. 5 fours and a 6. You've got to stop him.
He's playing nice at the moment. Thanks, Rambo. We'll hear from you and Sean shortly.